It began on a cold October evening when the town of Grayridge lay under a thick fog, and the trees in the surrounding forest loomed like black skeletons reaching for the sky. A group of 5 college friends, Ethan, Clara, Marcus, Lily, and Noah, drove into town for what was supposed to be nothing more than a Halloween adventure. The plan was simple: explore the abandoned Grayridge Asylum, take some videos, and leave before midnight. The asylum had been closed for nearly 40 years after a fire destroyed its east wing, and rumors spread about the inhumane experiments carried out on patients. People whispered that those who died there never really left. To the friends, it was nothing more than the perfect dare. They parked at the edge of the forest, the cracked asphalt road disappearing into mist. The building was a mile ahead, beyond the crooked pines that creaked as though something unseen was moving inside them. "Guys, I read somewhere that the asylum was shut down after staff disappeared too," Lily said as she tightened her coat. "Not just patients," Marcus chuckled. "Perfect. Ghost doctors. Just what we need." Ethan, the most daring of the group, led the way with a flashlight. "Come on. If we chicken out now, this trip is pointless." The forest swallowed their footsteps. Every branch snapped like a gunshot. Every gust of wind carried a whisper. Clara, walking close to Ethan, swore she heard her name drift from the trees, soft and urgent. By the time they reached the asylum, the sky was a deep bruise, and the building loomed before them, a decaying monolith of brick and broken glass. Its windows gaped like hollow eyes, and the once grand doors leaned off their hinges. "Home sweet home," Noah muttered, forcing a laugh. Inside, the air was thick with mildew. Hallways stretched endlessly, lined with rusted gurneys and wheelchairs frozen mid-motion, as though abandoned in a rush. Graffiti covered the walls, but beneath the spray paint were faint carvings, scratches that looked less like vandalism and more like someone had clawed at the plaster, desperate to escape. They decided to split up, filming different sections to cover more ground. Ethan and Clara went upstairs, Marcus and Lily stayed on the first floor, and Noah wandered toward the basement. The upstairs hallway smelled faintly of smoke, the legacy of the fire decades ago. Clara ran her fingers along the wall, tracing burn marks that resembled distorted faces. Ethan swung his flashlight, catching glimpses of doors labeled Ward C and Treatment Room. "Creepy," Clara whispered. "Awesome," Ethan corrected. He pushed open a door, revealing a room of overturned beds and shattered restraints. Something about the room felt colder than the rest of the building. Clara's breath puffed visibly in the beam of light. "Ethan, do you hear that?" she asked. A faint sobbing drifted from the corner. They froze. Slowly, Ethan raised the flashlight. Nothing. Just a broken chair. The sobbing stopped. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them. Clara screamed and grabbed Ethan's arm. He yanked the door open, but the hallway outside was no longer the same. The wallpaper was peeling. Lights flickered, and the air was filled with the echo of distant screams. It was as if the asylum had come alive again, trapped in its final night of horror. Downstairs, Marcus and Lily moved cautiously. Their camera flickered as if the batteries were dying. "Cheap batteries," Marcus grumbled. But Lily wasn't convinced. She felt eyes on her, heavy and suffocating. She stopped in front of a patient cell, its door slightly ajar. On the inside, written over and over in dark stains, were the words, "Let US out." "Marcus, don't you think we should leave?" she whispered. "Not until we find Noah," he said, but his voice trembled. They pressed on, unaware that the door of the cell had creaked wider behind them. In the basement, Noah descended a staircase slick with water. The air was damp, heavy with the stench of rot. His flashlight caught a sign, "Hydrotherapy." He stepped inside. Rows of rusted bathtubs filled the room, each chained to the floor. Black water rippled faintly in some of them, though there was no source. Noah crouched, staring into one tub. His reflection rippled back, except it wasn't his face. It was a pale, eyeless figure, grinning with jagged teeth. The water surged upward, splashing over the rim as hands, thin, bony hands, shot out and grabbed Noah's arms. He screamed, but the sound never reached his friends. The water dragged him down, deeper than the tub should allow, pulling him into darkness. Upstairs, Ethan and Clara ran, desperate to find the others. The hallways shifted, bending into new shapes, doors vanishing, corridors looping back on themselves. Clara clutched Ethan's sleeve. "This isn't possible," she cried. "It's just old architecture," Ethan insisted, though his voice was shaking. They stumbled into a large room filled with patient files scattered across the floor. On a desk lay a leather-bound journal. Clara opened it. The first page read, "Experiments to remove fear have failed. The patients do not lose fear, they become it." The pages that followed were filled with sketches of twisted figures, their faces hollow, their bodies elongated. At the bottom of the last page were 5 names, written in fresh ink. Ethan, Clara, Marcus, Lily, Noah. The ink dripped as though still wet. Meanwhile, Marcus and Lily reached the stairwell, only to find it sealed by a wall that hadn't been there before. This is insane," Marcus muttered. Then they heard footsteps behind them. "Thank God, Noah," Lily called. But what stepped into the light wasn't Noah. It was tall, skeletal, wearing the shredded remains of a patient's uniform. Its head lolled to one side, mouth torn open wider than humanly possible. In its clawed hand, it dragged something. Noah's backpack. Lily screamed. They ran, bolting into a treatment ward. The creature's footsteps echoed, slow but steady. Marcus shoved a gurney against the door, but the metal groaned as something pushed from the other side. The lights flickered, and when they steadied, the creature was already inside, standing in the corner, closer than before. Lily grabbed Marcus's hand. "We're not getting out, are we?" He couldn't answer. The night unraveled into chaos. The 5 friends were hunted through the asylum's shifting corridors, each turn leading them deeper into the nightmare. Figures moved in the shadows, patients with hollow faces, nurses whispering in voices not their own. One by one, they were taken. Lily vanished when the lights went out, her scream cut short. Marcus's camera was found later, recording only static and the sound of dragging footsteps. Ethan and Clara fought to stay together, but the asylum wanted them apart. Doors slammed between them. Clara found herself in a surgical theater, blood still dripping from instruments that hadn't been used in decades. Voices chanted her name from the observation deck above, though no one was there. Ethan wandered into the burned wing, the air thick with smoke, though no fire burned. He saw shadows writhing in the walls, shapes that stretched and clawed, begging to be freed. One of them looked like Noah, another like Lily. When Ethan tried to run, he realized the floor was ash. His feet sank, and hands shot out from beneath, pulling him down. His flashlight fell, rolling to a stop beside Clara, who had just entered the room. "Ethan!" she screamed, but it was too late. He was gone. Clara, trembling, held the flashlight close. Her reflection appeared on the cracked mirror beside her, except it wasn't her reflection anymore. It smiled. By morning, the asylum was silent again. The police found their abandoned car at the forest's edge, doors wide open, keys still in the ignition. Inside the asylum, no trace of the 5 friends remained, except for Clara's voice, faintly echoing from the halls. "Don't leave me here. And if you walk the halls of Grayridge Asylum today, some swear you can still hear footsteps, laughter, and screams. The building does not forget. The building does not forgive. It only waits."